So dear students, welcome to the science class. So in the last class we were discussing about the getting to know about our plant. In that topic we concluded every part of the plant. That is nothing but we concluded with the stem, we concluded with the leaves, as well as we concluded with the roots, as well as we concluded with the flower part. And we have studied about the different parts of those parts also, as well as we studied about the uses of those parts. So in today's class we are going to discuss about the exercise questions which is going to come in this topic. So let us consider the first exercise question. That is nothing but correct the following statements and rewrite in your notebook. Correct the following statements and rewrite in your notebook. So here they are given the 5 statements. You have to check those statements and you have to rewrite those statements in such a manner that the statements becomes correct one. So they are given the wrong statements here. So let us consider the first statement here. What they are given? Stem absorbs the water and minerals from the soil. Stem absorbs the water and minerals from the soil. Is it right? Is it right? No, it is not right. So if we check here, which part is going to absorb the? If we take the plant and these are the roots and this is the stem. Then stem is present above the ground. So which part of the plant is going to absorb the water and minerals from the soil? Is it stem? No, it is root. So the correct statement here, nothing but root absorbs water and minerals from the soil. So for the first answer, that is nothing but it is root. Root absorbs the water and minerals. Water and mineral from the soil. So instead of stem, what we have write here, we have write root. And consider the second statement here. Leaves hold the plant upright. Leaves hold the plant upright. So is it possible that leaves are going to hold the plant upright, or other part of the plant is going to hold the plant upright? So it is not the leaves, it is the stem which is going to hold the plants upright. So it is one of the major function of the stem that is going to hold the plant, and it is to hold the plant into the upright direction. So here instead of the leaves, what we have to write here? We have to write stem. So here we have to write stem. Instead of leaves, what we have to write here? We have to write stem. So stem hold the plant upright. Stem hold the plant upright, not the leaves. Now let us consider this third statement here. Roots conduct water to the leaves. Roots conduct water to the leaves. So see again the plant, if you see here, roots are connected to the stem and stems are connected to the branches of the tree. Then nothing but it is connected to the leaves. So is it possible that roots are going to conduct the water to the leaves? No, it is not possible. Roots are conducting the water to the stem, then stem is conducting the water to the leaf. So here in the statement, roots is the wrong one. So instead of root, what we have to write? We have to write the stem. Instead of root, what we have to write? We have to write stem. So the stem conducts water to the leaves. Not the roots, but stem conduct the water to the leaves. Right. So next fourth statement here. The number of petals and stamens in a flower are always equal. The number of the petals and stamens in a flower are always equal. So if you check, it is not possible that the number of petals and stamens, the number of petals and sepals in a flower are always equal. Sometimes they are equal, but they are not always equal. They are not always equal. So instead of always we have another word, so that sometimes it will be equal. Right. The number of petals and stamens in a flower. Sorry, it's a stamen only. If you check the statement here, right. The number of petals and stamens in a flower are always equal. So it is wrong one. Instead of always, we have to say sometimes. Sometimes they are equal. Or you can say usually. Instead of sometimes we can use usually. Usually they are equal. The number of petals and stamens in a flower usually equal. Right. So if you check here, if the number of petals is equal to 2, that means the number of stamens it will be equal to 2 or may not be equal to 2. But usually they will be equal. So here instead of always we are going to take usually. The next statement number E. If the sepals of a flower are joined together, its petals are also joined together. If the sepals of the flowers are joined together, its petals are also going to be joined together. So if you check here, if you take the sepals, if the sepals are joined together like this, sepals are joined together like this, that means its petals are also going to be joined together. So it is completely wrong statement. It may be joined together, it may not be joined together. So instead of that thing, what we are going to write here, if the sepals of the flowers are joined together, it is not necessarily petals are also joined together. Its petals are also joined together. Instead of its petals, we can write here not necessarily. Its petals are also not necessarily. Instead of also, we can write here not necessarily. Not necessarily joined together. They may be joined together, they may not be joined together. For that reason, in some cases, if the sepals of flowers are joined together, its petals are also joined together in some cases, but in some cases it is not. For that reason, instead of also we are going to take not necessarily. So if the sepals of the flowers are joined together, its petals are not necessarily joined together. Not necessarily joined together. Now next statement, F statement. If the petals of the flower are joined together, then pistil is joined together. Joined to the petal. If the petals of a flower are joined together, then pistil is joined to the petal. It may be joined to the petal, it may not be joined to the petal. So instead of it joined to the petal, instead of what we can take here, not necessarily. Here also we are going to take not necessarily. It may be joined together, it may not be joined together. For that reason, if the petals of a flower are joined together, then the pistil is not necessarily joined to the petal. It is not necessarily joined to the petal. So this is the answer for the main question number 1. Now let us consider the main question number 2. Draw a leaf, a taproot, a flower. You studied for table 7.6. You studied for table, whichever table you studied in this example. So you have to take one plant. From that plant, we have to draw the structure of the leaf, structure of the root, and structure of the flower. So if we take the leaf here, we can draw the leaf like this. So this is the structure of the leaf, which is showing the reticulate venation. So these are the veins. These are the veins. These are the midleaf. This is the midleaf. And all these things, greenish thing is nothing but what? It is the lamella. Right. So this is the A general structure of a leaf. So it is the answer A. Secondly, a taproot. We have to show a taproot. So if you check here, it is going to show the taproot only. So if you take here taproot goes like this. So there will be branches of the taproot. So these branches are nothing but what? These are the taproots. Another type of root is nothing but what? It is the fibrous root. So this is an example for the taproot. Next, what you have to draw here? We have to draw the third diagram like nothing but a flower. So you should draw a flower of rose or a hibiscus flower. It depends on you. So you have to draw another diagram of the flower. So this is the answer for the main question number 2. So let us consider the main question number 3 here. Can you find a plant in your house or in your neighborhood which has a long but weak stem? Write its name and in which category you place it. So what you have to do here, can you find a plant in your house or in your neighborhood which has a long but weak stem? Write its name and in which category you place it. So we have to identify a plant which has a long root, long stem but weak stem. If you check here, we have a plant named as the Loki plant. We have a Loki plant. So if you take the Loki plant, it has a long root. So long stem, but that stem is very weak. So it belongs to the category of the creepers. It is going to belong to the category of the creepers. So it is going to spread out on the ground. So for that reason, that plant is nothing but what is the third answer? It is the Loki plant. So we can call it as the gourd plant. Gourd plant. So it belongs to the family of creepers. It belongs to the family of the creepers. So you can take another example. You can give another example which has the long stem but weak stem, and you can give the answer different plant, and you have to categorize them into some category. That nothing but it belongs to the category of the creepers. So next, main question number 4. What is the function of the stem here? Main question number 4. What is the function of the stem? So what do you mean by the function? Function is nothing but what type of work is going to done by the stem. So we already know that it is going to do the main three work. So first work is nothing but it is going to transport the water from root to the leaves. Water and minerals are going to transport it via stem to the leaves. So the first function here, the fourth question is transportation. Transportation of water and minerals. Transportation of water and minerals to the leaves. So second major function of the stem here. Second major function is stem here. It is going to give the support to the plant. It is going to give the support to the plant. That is nothing but stems are the major one which is going to hold the plant upright. So stems are those which hold the plant upright. So for upholding the plant upright, again the major function is performed by the stem only. So another third major function of the stem here. So it is going to conduct the water from the roots to the leaves. The first major function. In the same manner, by utilizing that water, leaves are going to perform photosynthesis. That is nothing but they are going to prepare food. So those food particles are also going to be transported to the roots as well as it is going to transport it to the leaves. So how does it is going to happen? It is again going to happen by the leaves. It is going to happen by the stem. So already we discussed about that thing. Stem is going to perform two-way dropping. First is nothing but transportation of the water. In the second way is nothing but what? Transportation of the food to the root. So here, transportation of the food. Transportation of the food to other parts of the plant. Which is done by the stem. So these are the three major functions of the stem. Now next, fifth question. So what is the fifth question here? Which of the following leaves has the reticulate venation? So we have discussed about the two types of the venation. One is the reticulate venation, another one is the parallel venation. So from this table, which plant has the reticulate venation leaves? So we check here, wheat doesn't have the reticulate venation. We check here, tulsi has the reticulate venation. Maize has the parallel venation, so it is wrong answer. Grass has the parallel venation, it is also wrong answer. Coriander it has the reticulate venation, it is right answer. That is nothing but coriander means dhania. And China rose has the reticulate venation. So the answer for the fifth question here is what? The answer for the fifth question. So that is nothing but which plant has the reticulate venation from the following. So answer for that thing is one is the tulsi, second one is the which one? Tulsi, second one is the coriander. There is nothing but dhania. And third one is the tulsi, coriander, and third one is the China rose. So these are the three plants which has the reticulate venation. Right. Now let us consider the next question here. Question number 6. If a plant has fibrous root, what type of venation does its leaf have? So we already know that venation, that is nothing but the patterns which are present on the leaves are directly interlinked with the type of the root. So while we know the type of the root, we are going to know about the venation does leaf have, as well as if you know the venation of the leaf, we are going to identify the type of root it contains. So if you check here, if a plant has the fibrous root, what type of venation does it have? So fibrous roots are nothing but what? Those are the roots which have the same equal size like this. They are spread like this. So if you check this pattern, these are nothing but what? These are the fibrous roots. So we know that the plant has the fibrous root. That means that plant is going to have a parallel venation. The leaves venation is nothing but what? Here it is going to have a parallel venation. So it is going to have what? Parallel venation. These leaves are going to have parallel venation. So whichever plant if you take, if the root is fibrous root only, then that plant is going to have parallel venation. So next consider the second question, that is nothing but seventh one. If the leaves have the reticulate venation, what kind of roots will it have? If the leaves have the reticulate venation, what kind of roots will it have? So you already know that fibrous roots are connected to the parallel venation. In the same manner, if leaves have the reticulate venation, then the type of root which it is going to have is the taproot. It is nothing but what? It is the taproot. So here it is the parallel venation. Here in this case it is the parallel venation. If the root type is taproot, then it is going to have which type of venation here? It is going to have the reticulate venation. So here it is the reticulate venation, and the type of the root here is taproot. Right. So this is about the question number 7. Now let us consider the question number 8 here. Is it possible for you to find out whether a plant has taproot or fibrous root by looking at the impression of its leaf on a sheet of paper? So we don't have the leaf only, we have just impression of that leaf on a sheet of paper. So is it possible that we are going to identify the type of the root by using the impression of that leaf on a sheet of paper? Is it possible? Yes or no? If it is yes, how? If it is no, why? Yes, it is possible. So you are going to take the impression of the leaf on a sheet of paper by taking the leaf. So when you take the impression of the leaf on a sheet of paper, it is going to give the all its parts. That is nothing but it is going to give all the designs which is leaf is going to have. Now if it is providing the design which it is having on a sheet of paper by taking the impression by the pencil, then we are going to know about the venation does that leaf have. Which type of venation the leaf is going to have, we are going to know that thing. By checking those impressions, by checking those designs, if that leaf is having reticulate venation, if the leaf is having a reticulate venation, or if you check here, if that leaf looks like this, or the impression of the leaf looks like this, then we can say it as the reticulate venation. And if the leaf has the parallel venation, then if those veins are parallel to each other, then that veins are nothing but what? The venation that is nothing but what? It is known as the parallel venation. So by the structure, by the impression of the leaf, we are getting to know about the reticulate venation as well as the parallel venation. So if we check here, reticulate venation is directly connected to the taproot, as well as parallel venation is directly connected to the fibrous root. So if that impression has the reticulate venation, by that thing we are going to identify that root type is taproot. If that thing has the parallel venation, then the root type of that thing is nothing but what? It is the fibrous root. So by taking the venations only, by taking the designs only, it is possible that we are going to identify the type of the root. So the answer for the question number 8, and it is yes. Depending on the venation, we are going to identify the type of the root. So here we are concluded with the 8 questions. The remaining 5 questions we are going to discuss in the next class. So up to that point, thank you, take care, stay well, stay home. Thank you.